Hi everyone, it's me, C Lefty Run. I'm here to update you on my week 2 and week 3 training for Revel Big Bear. Labor Day weekend, I just didn't get a chance to record. And if I'm being honest, I just haven't been super motivated with running lately, and I'm going to talk a little more about that. So, week 2, really quickly, I did 6 on Sunday, 6 on Monday. On Tuesday, I had back to school night. So I did my SOS workout, that's something of substance, on the treadmill because I had to start really early, like at 4:30, because I have to be at work by 7:20. So it was 6 by 1 mile repeats at like a 7:50 to 8-minute pace. So I set the treadmill to 8 and I did a 1 mile warm up, and then I would run a mile in 8 minutes, quarter mile easy, mile in 8 minutes. And I did that 6 times. And so the total mileage for the workout was 8, and it felt pretty good. It felt fine. I mean, was it hard? Yeah, but it wasn't like I couldn't, keep up with the workout or had stopped continuously. It's not as hard as these other workouts have been, which I'm going to get into. Wednesday is my lovely rest day. I ran 6 on Thursday and 8 on Friday, easy with my friend Stephanie. And then I ran 14 of some of the hottest miles on Saturday. I felt like I was running the 2007 Chicago Marathon all over again. Thank gosh it wasn't a marathon. It took me quite a while to get into my pace zone, like 4 miles. I think my zone was a 8:14 to 9:10. I didn't adjust for heat. So I'm like, with that range, I don't really need to. My average pace was a 9:02, so I stayed on the higher end of the range. But I've been trying to do 60 carbs an hour. So when I do gels in training, I don't, run and like get them out and I stop and I rip it off and then I do it and then I run. I don't find that doing that in training affects my race. Like I'm able to keep running when I'm racing and pull them out and take them as I run. But in training, I just like to stop and not bang my teeth and not get it all over myself. So, anyway, I was taking gels, but it just was kind of miserable the whole time. I wasn't enjoying it. It felt harder than it should be based on my pace. I was soaking wet. It was about 85 degrees, 90% humidity, like just miserable running conditions. And I just didn't want to be out there. Didn't want to be doing that. I get home. I've been married to my husband for 19 years, and he is training for the Malibu Triathlon. And so he went and swam in our local bay. And he drove there and swam in the water in the ocean, and then came home. And as I was finishing my run, he was finishing his bay swim after he had driven home. And he said, "How was your run?" And I was like soaked, drenched. I was like, it was awful. I'm just, this heat is ridiculous. And he goes, "Really?" "Yeah, because, it didn't feel that hot." I wanted to punch him in the face. I've never wanted to punch him in the face since we've been married, and I did in that moment. So after that miserable run, I just went into my little above ground pool and like took a dunk and stretched and was like, I gotta regroup, right? So then I did 6 on Sunday. So now I'm heading into week 3, 6 on Sunday, 6 on Monday with Stephanie, 10 on Tuesday with runner's high. So I've kind of decided that I'm going to stick with my runner's high run club for these Tuesday speed workouts. I normally have an SOS workout on Tuesdays. So in my mind, I'm like, as long as I get the mileage in, I do part of my SOS workout, and then I can meet them for the final 3. So that's what I did. I think I had on Tuesday, it was 8 by 3 minutes. Is that it? Yeah, 8 times 3 minutes. But the total time that I was supposed to be running for was like 1 hour and 24 minutes. So I just I modified it a bit where I meet them. There's a lot of hills in the area, and Revel Big Bear is a hilly race. It's downhill. Okay. It's downhill, but I feel like running uphill mimics speed, right? So sometimes that's just psychologically easier for me to run uphill. Anyway, so I did 6 miles, kind of like going up and down the hills. And then I met with them and did 3.5 miles of speed. Whatever the coach wants to do that day, I follow his program. And that just nice to be with other people. And yeah, and it was really hot that day. Thank God they give popsicles at the end, which is really nice. I'm like, I'm gonna stay around for the popsicle. So that workout went fine, but again, I kind of went off script and did, oh, yeah, it was just hot. And I did post something on Luke Humphrey, my Facebook running group, where I was like, I don't know if I can do this cycle. Like, it's just been a grind. And there hasn't been anything enjoyable about it. And so the last 2 cycles, when I did Revel Big Bear last year, and then I went right into Mount Charleston, I loved every run. I looked forward to it. I loved the challenge. And I'm just not feeling that this time around. And I don't know if it's because I met my goal and I qualified for Boston and I have like a nice buffer, right? If I'm just struggling with the why. Like right now, my goal, if I do Big Bear, is to just run a sub 3:35. Like, and then in my mind, I'm like, who cares? You've already done way more than you ever thought you could do. So does it really matter if you go from a 3:37 to a sub 3:35? And I think it doesn't matter to me enough to train through this heat and to do all the things that I've been doing. So that's kind of what I'm grappling with. So I put that post on Facebook where I was kind of whining, right? Like, this is so hard. Da, 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 da. And everyone's so nice on that group. And they're like, you can do it. You got this, And then Luke Humphrey or one of his admin people like read my post. And this is why I love, like, seriously, it's the best. It's the best thing money can buy. He has so many training plans for anybody with any ability. And he said to me, and this is exactly what I needed to hear, because I was like, I'm just kind of throwing pace out the window. I'm just getting the miles in. Like, I don't feel confident right now. And he said, yes, that's a really good point. And you're right. Oh, no. He said, I think the overall approach is good. Training by feel and not by pace, because that's what I said. He said, keep your volume high. I just think at the end of the day, you have to decide if you want to run the race for something other than a time, or if it's not worth it to you. Not saying one is better than the other, but I think if you go into the race not fully into it, then it will probably be disappointing and the outcome will probably be predetermined. 100% right. I couldn't have said it better myself. And I know this about myself, and when I ran Mountains to Beach in 2019, all the things I'm feeling now, I was feeling then, like just kind of burned out. And I didn't have a good race. It wasn't good. And my fear is that if I carry on with Big Bear feeling this way, and I'm not really clear on what my why is, it's going to completely burn me out. And should I get into Boston, I'm going to be too burned out to put forth the training that I need to put forth to do well there. So I'm going to blow 2 races when that is my fear. And I know myself well enough to know, gee, I've had these feelings before. All these signs are here. The heat it's not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think the humidity is going anywhere anytime. California is burning down. So I also have air quality things that I'm dealing with. I don't feel really motivated. My why isn't strong enough. Like, I want to take 2 minutes off, I want to sub 3:35. And I'm kind of like, who cares? But my A goal is Boston, and my A goal is to run Boston well to the best of my ability. So that's what I'm struggling with right now. I think if I do get into Boston, this is a decision I made on today's run, which I'll tell you about in a minute. If I do get into Boston, I'm not going to run this race. So if I don't get into Boston, then I'm going to run like hell, right? and just like start picking it up. And then I'll run Revel Big Bear in hopes that I will qualify for Boston again if I have to. So that is my plan moving forward. I get to register for Boston on Monday. I'm so excited, like, that I even just get to register. So if I get in, I'm done. Like, I'm just gonna like pull back a bit, keep my running up, still run with Runner's High and do all of those things. And then start training for Boston, do an 18-week Boston plan through Luke Humphrey Running. So that's kind of what I decided today. So that was my Tuesday run where I started to really think about all these things because it was hot and I was tired, and it was miserable and I wasn't enjoying it. Marathon training is too hard not to enjoy or not to be inspired by at least the challenge of it, right? So I ran 8 on Thursday, 6 on Friday, and today I had a 12-mile run. And I was like, all right, regardless of weather, I'm going to go out and I'm going to like really do the workout. Like, I'm not going to adjust for pace. I'm just going to see what that feels like. So I pushed the workout to my Garmin and I'm off. And it was 3 by 2 by 3. That was the 2-mile warm up, 3 miles at goal marathon pace, half-mile easy, 2 miles at goal marathon pace, half-mile easy, 3 miles at goal marathon pace, half-mile easy, 1 mile cool down. I've done this workout a million times. I know what it should feel like. I know what my paces should be. I know I can do it, and so I go out there, I hit the first 3 miles. I'm feeling great. Not great. I take that back. Not great. Like, I'm looking forward to the half mile, like, easy. But so when I get to the half mile easy, there's like a water fountain. And I'm like, I'm going to hit the water fountain. I'm going to take a gel because at this point I've already run 5 miles. Take a gel, hit the water fountain, go to pause my watch. Instead of pausing it, I hit the lat press, which advances to the 2 miles that I'm supposed to do next. So it skips the cool down, goes to the 2 miles. And then I start to freak out. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I go to hit like back or pause. And then I hit the lat button again. And then it pushes. So there goes my programmed workout, right? And I was like, oh, what do I do? Oh my gosh. So I stopped Garmin. I saved what I had done. I restarted it. The workout's gone. I can't push it out again because Final Search is like, you already did this workout. I'm like, no, I didn't. What can I do it again? So then I just start my watch and then I'm running like, okay, I skipped the half mile cool down because I'm like cooled down at this point, like more than I should be. So I go out, I'm running the 2 miles hard and, this kind of circle that I run around, the park loop. How about that? The terrain is interesting, and so sometimes you're faster, sometimes you're slower. But with the Final Search workouts, you get the only thing it shows you is your average pace. So you don't get mentally messed up when it's like, oh, you're running 750 right now. Oh, now you're running 815s, But because I was doing just a regular workout, I was seeing that, I was getting in my head. I wasn't in the mood for any of it. And I just decided at that point, I was like, all the signs are here. It's hot. I'm not enjoying this. I was so dependent on that workout being in my watch that once it stopped, I could not mentally move ahead. It just mentally broke me. And you don't want to be in that place when you're training for a marathon. You don't want things like that to mentally break you. I should have been able to recover from it and I couldn't. So I call my husband. I'm like, come get me. I'm done. Yeah, I'm not doing this race. So I finished running. I ended up finishing the workout, but just not like speeding it up, and then he picks me up and I checked my watch and I was supposed to do 12, but I was at 11 and that irked me. So I came home at a 8-minute mile on the treadmill, which was kind of fine. Anyway, that's where I'm at. So I came to the conclusion that if I get into Boston, I'm scrapping this race. If I don't get into Boston, it's going to be full steam ahead. And so I'm going to carry on with my training, but I'm just not going to put a lot of pressure on myself until I know the outcome for Boston. Because when Luke was like, you really need to figure out, I'm like, you're right, I do need to figure this out. And so I did. I thought a lot about it. And I'm like, yeah, I can't blow Boston. Like, that's kind of like the goal race, right? And I don't want to burn out before then and not enjoy my training for Boston. So that's where I'm at, week 2 and 3. Anyway, hope your training is going better than mine. I'll come back next week after I register and let you know what happens. So anyway, yeah, progress isn't always linear, especially when it comes to running. And you can't PR every race. And I had I had really great running for a year and a half. And not that running isn't great right now, but well, it's not, it doesn't feel great. So I think I just need like a break, because I've been at it pretty hardcore, pretty consistently for a year and a half. So I'm tired, and I don't want to be tired when I start training for Boston. Anyway, hope this was helpful to you. Hopefully you're not on my boat. I didn't just convince you to stop training for your marathon. But I've been doing it long enough, and I know myself. So I don't want a repeat of 2019. Thank you very much. All right, you guys have a great week, and I will check in with you later. Wish me luck for getting into Boston, please. All right, bye.